Good evening, everyone. I'm Carla Christopher, host of Culture in Maine, York's weekly cultural showcase. And this week, joining us, we have a brand new segment, Art That Heals, featuring healers who use their art in a very special way. And this week, we're profiling Rosa, a wonderful art therapist who practices here in York County. We also are going to be visiting Heidelberg, a wonderful church in the downtown community that had a very special concert from the Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus. We got to catch up with many of the members of the chorus and get some very fun and funny music. We also are showcasing the very last Artisan of the Month, since the program only went through 2014. So Christine Lincoln, York City's Poet Laureate, gave a very touching and beautiful performance as she received the December award. So you don't want to miss that. We also have something special for you this month. It's February, Black History Month. So throughout the episode, you'll see a series of really cool videos from a series that was produced by White Rose Community Television, along with key learning consultants and Community Arts, Inc. It's members of the local community, role models in their own right, and modern-day history makers, but they're also presenting on figures from Black history. So it's a great educational and fun and personal component that makes Black history a little more real for all of us. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another dynamic snapshot of the art and cultural scene that is South Central Pennsylvania.
Culture in Maine.
It is a place where the truth should be kept.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
It makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential with great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic.
Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe has not been seen before.
Without art, what is life?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
We don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
It's okay. Kind of funny. I figure whenever you're down and out, the only way is up and out the yard. Like the brand new us. High on the vine. Don't stop your narrow run. Take a tip from mine. I'm a little bit short of the elbow room, but let me get me some. And look out, world, here I come. Hear me shout, world, here I come. Hey!
Greetings. I am Mayor Kim Bracey. I am the City of York's active mayor. I'm a native Yorker, born and raised here in the City of York, a graduate of William Penn Senior High School, and Air Force veteran. It gives me great pleasure to be able to speak about a historical figure in Black history. Kathy Williams was born in Independence, Missouri, to a free man of color and a woman in slavery, making her legal status also that of a slave. During her teen years, Kathy worked as a house slave on the Johnson plantation until 1861, when Union forces occupied Jefferson City in the early stages of the Civil War. At that time, captured slaves were officially designated by the Union as contraband, and many were forced to serve in military support roles, such as cooks, laundresses, or nurses. And at age 17, Kathy found herself traveling with the 8th Indiana Volunteer Infantry Regiment. For the next few years, Kathy traveled with the 8th Indiana through Arkansas, Louisiana, in Georgia and saw the Battle of Pea Ridge and the Red River Campaign. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas, where she would have seen uniformed African American men serving as soldiers, which may have inspired her own interest in military service. What we do know is that despite the rule against women serving in the military, Kathy enlisted in the United States Regular Army on November 15, 1866, at St. Louis, Missouri, for a 3-year engagement, passing herself off as a man named William Kathy. Only 2 others were ever aware of her secret, her cousin and her friend, both fellow soldiers in her regiment. But an Army surgeon finally discovered she was a woman in 1868, and Kathy was discharged from the Army and headed to the Wild West to become a cook, a seamstress, even the owner of her own boarding house in Colorado. A reporter from St. Louis heard rumors of a female African American who had served in the Army and came to interview her. The story of her life and military service was published in the St. Louis Daily Times in 1876. Although there was a precedence for granting a pension to female soldiers who had disguised themselves as men, Kathy had no influential friends to help her, and in 1891 was denied a soldier's pension. To this day, her final resting place isn't known, but her history as the first African American woman to serve in the United States military will be remembered forever. The fact that there was strength, resilience, a willingness to do the part, carry out a mission, carry out the duty. There's so many people that want to give back in our community today, and they often are trying to figure out what exactly does that look like? What does that mean? Where do I fit in? Make it comfortable to you. You don't necessarily have to dress up as a man or a woman to carry out the task, but if it's comfortable to you to do and it's something you feel good about at the end of the day, I think that right there sets the tone for being that role model, because you just never know what other Air Force veterans are going to come up behind you and look at you as a hero.
So our first guest today is actually an their studio visit. We're going to York Arts on Beaver Street, where they have individual artists that work from miniature studios upstairs. And one of those fabulous artists who showcased in that very classic space is Rosa Luz. Now, she's a wonderful, fine artist. She actually came to this country as a very young child, an undocumented immigrant from Peru. The experiences that she had in learning how to become a part of this country and this community, and then becoming a citizen, building a family here, and wanting to give back. Well, all of those shape a very powerful story that she uses to help others as a registered social worker and licensed art therapist, and then also as a fine artist who takes the stories of her childhood and her Peruvian roots and weaves them into very personal narratives in the form of very dynamic paintings. I think you're going to love seeing her studio and hearing how she creates art that heals.
Art therapy, it's an alternative way of being able to express your feelings without having to use words. Art was something that really created space for me to think, to sort things out. So I did take a lot of drawing classes and color classes, and just knowing that was so soothing and relaxing. So drawing was kind of my first part. It was an important piece of becoming a painter. You don't necessarily have to be an artist to be an art therapist. You have to have some training, understanding of the power of the creative process. Okay, so I've met a lot of very creative people, and people who actually do art who are art therapists, but not necessarily is that like a requisite. But I think that's usually the impression that some of my clients have, that, I'm an artist. I realized that I had like pastel pencils that I could work with, and which gave me a little more control to detail. And the painting that I did with my Ethiopian lady, the other painting, a lot is with the pencil pastels, and it was so much fun. It was so enjoyable. I'm always working on myself and being able to empower myself and to do self-care when I need to, so that I can be able to be of service to others. If I don't do that, then I run the risk of doing a disservice to others. So, this book, which I call my creative thoughts, what I do is, on one side, I write poetry, which is very, very, very spontaneous, very free-thinking, but symbolic in a way. And then the other side would be a very spontaneous drawing. So one side uses words, the other side uses more like symbols, and it's symbols using only pen. And I never thought I would be drawing in pen, but drawing in pen, it's permanent, and it's really remarkable, really empowering to be able to do that. And this one says, expressing with words that cannot reach you, I find colors and images that capture my confusion. My struggle becomes a mirror that I can connect. I look for myself in this mirror, asking for my identity and my purpose. A path opens up, and I seek an answer. Entering this path, creating each step, there's fear, terror, tears, and rage. I release through my colors and images. I find myself. This is a technique actually that I use in my art therapy sessions that I think are very powerful, because it allows you to use tap into your right and left brain, because sometimes we feel so disconnected. And when you're a survivor of trauma, you do that. And as you are able to find the words and find the symbols, you find a way to integrate them as you feel more comfortable or more familiar, and not feel like you have to disconnect. But it's a process. And for me to share this is because in some way I feel I'm in a very safe place, and this is my space, and I'm sharing my story. It's about really connecting. My goal is to connect with the world outside my window. I want to connect with my community, not just here in New York, but people. I love that kind of interaction that could allow me to do that. I want to continue exploring the plein air art. I love it when children come and they want to know more about my painting, and they feel like they want to paint next to me, and I think it's phenomenal. And so whenever I'm asked to do that, I feel very enthusiastic about that. And I primarily worked with trauma survivors. Yeah, and it seems like there's a calling there. I feel like I'm able to see the need to tap into the art, to express a lot of pain, a lot of injury that is kept within us, within our body, within the soul. And I believe that art tends to be able to find a way to come out and be put on paper. And not just on paper, but in different ways. I've seen it on sculptures, I've seen it on metal, just a whole array. Your creative abilities has no range. It's just really wide. So I see that. And in terms of, most recently I work at Turning Point. It's a women's advocacy and counseling center here in New York. And it's a program that works with survivors of child sexual abuse. I also work at Hershey, the eating disorder program, Briarcrest. I work with children as well as adolescent and adults. I do groups there. Well, what it is when you work with different media, especially if you work with pastels, there's so much, you feel so connected, because you're touching the material, you're feeling it, and it's really a wonderful experience. You almost lose yourself in it, and I remember with acrylics, it's a challenge because it dries quickly. There are people who've never done art, and maybe their sole experience of art has been that teacher in second grade where it was very traumatic, or they were judged and felt like they'll never want to do it again. It's just, I can't draw anything. I can only draw stick figures, and so I hear the injury that the person endured and what that experience has stayed with them as adults, and working through that to let them know that first acknowledge that moment that they heard those words that hurt them, that injury, and be able to regain their trust and be able to help them find the healing that they need to start over, to try again. They're not there for an art class. I'm not there to teach anyone how to do art. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to grade it. And I'm not going to teach them how to do art, but rather facilitate, provide them with ideas, suggestions, art material that they can use to express their own ideas, feelings, situations, experiences through their own very unique way of finding symbols, words, even colors, shapes that connect with them, that in some way have meaning to them. One painting could have both elements of joy and frustration and anger, and find the imbalance. My artwork is in a way about finding that balance sometimes. The Day of the Dead. And they use skulls as part of in their baking, in their garments, and everything. In addition to being an art therapist, I'm also a social worker. So my desire to connect with people has always been there. So and to now use art as a way to connect with people, it's so powerful that art came into the picture. It was just kind of, I should have figured it out before I went to social work, but we're all growing and figuring those things out. But I love working with people, and I don't have a preference, to be honest with you.
I am Sandra Thompson. I am a local attorney, Pennsylvania attorney. Also, I am president of the York NAACP and first vice president of the NAACP for the Pennsylvania State Conference. I am going to be introducing you to Sadie Tanner Moselle Alexander. Sadie Tanner Moselle, who later became Sadie Tanner Moselle Alexander, was born on January 2nd, 1898 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sadie's father was the first African American to graduate from the University of Pennsylvania School of Law, and his brother, her uncle, Nathan Moselle, was the first African American to graduate from the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine. But it was Sadie who had the honor of becoming the first African American woman in the United States to earn a PhD. After attending the M Street School, also known as the Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C., Sadie continued her education at the University of Pennsylvania. She earned a BS in education, a master's degree in economics in 1919, and then her doctorate in 1921. But she did not stop there. In 1927, she was the first African American woman to earn a law degree at Penn, pass the bar, and practice law in Pennsylvania. Also, in 1927, Sadie joined her husband, Raymond Pace Alexander, in his law firm. Sadie was appointed the first African American woman assistant city solicitor for the city of Philadelphia, where she served until 1931, then again from 1936 to 1940. From 1943 to 1947, Sadie was the first woman to serve as secretary of the National Bar Association. Both Sadie and Raymond were active in civil rights, and her work was so important that in 1947, she was appointed to the President's Committee on Civil Rights by President Harry S. Truman. The committee's report to secure these rights served as the foundation of the civil rights movement in America and was the basis for future civil rights policy decisions and legislation. In 1949, Sadie chaired a special committee of the Fellowship Commission that was to ensure provisions guaranteeing equal treatment and equal opportunity in the city's administration. It was the Fellowship Commission which called for the formation of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations in 1952. Sadie served on that commission until 1958. In 1959, Sadie opened her own private law firm after her husband was appointed the first African-American judge in the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas. In 1976, Sadie was appointed chairperson for the White House Conference on Aging by President Jimmy Carter. Sadie privately practiced law until 1982, when she retired at about 84 years old. Besides the many firsts accomplished in her lifetime until her death in 1989, Sadie Tanner Moselle Alexander was also awarded 7 honorary doctorate degrees, had a professorship named after her at the University of Pennsylvania that still continues today, and is referred to as Sweet Sadie by the women of the historically black sorority Delta Sigma Theta, for whom she was the first national president. I was actually intrigued by this assignment to read about Sadie Tanner Moselle Alexander. I mean, because she was an attorney, and that is what I am, and the challenges that she went through of being so many firsts in her field and being the late 1800s, early 1900s, and this is 2014, and we're still having so many firsts of African American accomplishments. And to see that her tenacity of how she pushed through those firsts, and saying that she did not walk alone, that she walked with God. So I think that actually was inspirational on so many levels. So I was so thankful to hear her story. And also, being from Philadelphia as I am, I hadn't heard that. I didn't really remember growing up. And I graduated high school in 1986. So her story was so recent then. And I don't remember learning about her. So I'm glad to have learned her story.
The gentlemen from Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus travel all throughout South Central and the rest of Pennsylvania, sharing their fine and classical 4-part harmony in wonderful, untraditional arrangements of beautiful music from across the decades. But they brought an extra special dose of fun, humor, wit, even sketch comedy to their concert Lessons from Carols. Not Christmas carols, but actually based on performers and artists who were named Carol. Cute play on words, right? So they were at Heidelberg just a few weeks ago, and we were able to catch up with them. You're going to love this music, and you're definitely going to love these gentlemen. Check out the Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus.
Do you give your love so sweetly, so sweet tonight? The light of love is in your eyes. But will you love me tomorrow? Do 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 do. Is this a lasting treasure? Do 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 do. Is this just pleasure? Can I believe the magic of your sighs? Will you still love me tomorrow? Tonight with words unspoken. You say that I'm the only one. But will my heart be broken when the night meets the morning? So will you still love me? Will you still love me? Will you still love me? I'd like to know that your love is love I can be sure of. So tell me now, and I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow? Will you still love me tomorrow?
I am Adam Gustafson. I'm the artistic director of the Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus.
My name is Dan Dietz, so I'm actually the accompanist of the Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus. I've been with the chorus a little over 10 years. I actually started out as a singer and made my way onto the board of directors and then moved my way into the accompanist position when they needed someone to play. I've been playing the piano since I was about 5 years old. I started accompanying the school choirs probably around the 5th grade. So I've been doing this just a little while. But no, I really enjoy music. Music has always been a passion. I have a minor in music from Susquehanna University. And so now I enjoy doing that as a hobby.
I'm Jeff Mitchell. I'm the president of the Harrisburg Gay Men's Chorus, and I've joined the chorus, I think I'm in my 9th year now, and I have always enjoyed singing and have enjoyed singing in a positive LGBT environment, and that's why I am singing with the chorus. I think it's important for the gay community to be out, or members of the community to be out and involved in positive role modeling ways.
My name is Eddie Deal, and I am the vice president of the chorus. I'm also a co-chair of the fundraising committee and a tenor one. I've been with the chorus probably about, I don't know, 8 years? How many years? 10 years. 10 years sounds good. Yeah, it was 10 years. I joined the chorus just because I had a background of singing but hadn't sung with a group for probably about 10 years, and I missed it. And I got a postcard in the mail from the men's chorus telling me when the auditions were, and I showed up. And from then on, I've just been having a great time.
Heidi ho! Heidi ho, Heidi, Heidi, hi, Heidi, 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 Heidi ho, Heidi, Heidi,
The Gay Men's Chorus does a variety of shows, everything from traditional holiday shows to our cabaret fundraisers to our sort of non-traditional spring shows, which run the gamut from pop to Broadway to everything in between.
The goal for our rehearsals is that we are very serious in rehearsals, and hopefully we have gone over the music so diligently that when we're up here we can have fun with it. Because if we don't know the music well and don't spend the time rehearsing in a professional way, then it's not fun up here.
I think that the chorus has built up over the years such a network of people, and that community is so supportive that we have a pretty good crowd wherever we go. So
I absolutely enjoy the music that we do. We do a huge variety of music, from classical to show tunes to pop music to 16th century Christmas music. The whole gamut really keeps my interest. I was trained as a classical piano player, so I enjoy that, but I love the variety and I love all the different things that we do.
Was it spring?
I didn't start singing until I went to college, and it was something that I decided I'd try, and it turned into a career. So,
sure, I'm an elementary art teacher, and I'm out in that environment also, and just am happy to be out and trying to be a positive role model that way.
My full-time job is taking care of the elderly in a local nursing home, and I actually grew up right here in York County and nearby in Spring Grove, and I have a daughter who's almost 7, and my partner and I have a great time raising her with all the challenges that comes with that, and that's my part of the chorus.
Yeah, I teach actually at Penn State Harrisburg. I'm the music professor there as well. So, yeah.
I am a nurse at a local medical center in the recovery room. And I sometimes sing to my patients.
My name is Aquina Washington, and I'm the Director of Community Relations for the City of York. My ties to this community is that I am proud to say that I'm born and raised in the City of York. I graduated from William Penn Senior High School, and I'm also a graduate of York College of Pennsylvania. I also serve on several boards in my community. I am the first African American female president of the YWCA York. I also serve on the Community Progress Council Board of Directors. I also serve on the York County Community Foundation's Embracing Aging Committee, and I also serve on various other organizations within my community. I'm also a member of a group, Wordwide, that started the first spoken word venue or culture in the City of York, and I'm very proud of that as well. I'm here to introduce one of my icons, famed U.S. Congresswoman and lifelong social activist Shirley Chisholm. She was born Shirley St. Hill on November 30th, 1924 in Brooklyn, New York. After graduating from Brooklyn College in 1946, she began her career as a teacher and went on to earn a master's degree in elementary education from Columbia University. Chisholm served as director of the Hamilton-Madison Child Care Center from 1953 to 1959 and as an educational consultant for New York City's Bureau of Child Welfare from 1959 to 1964. In 1968, Shirley Chisholm made history by becoming the United States' first African-American congresswoman, beginning the first of 7 terms in the House of Representatives. After initially being assigned to the House Forestry Committee, she shocked many by demanding a reassignment. She was placed on the Veteran Affairs Committee and eventually graduating to the Education and Labor Committee. In 1969, Chisholm became one of the founding members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Chisholm went on to make history again yet, becoming the first major party African-American candidate to make a bid for the U.S. presidency when she ran for the Democratic nomination in 1972. A champion of minority education and employment opportunities throughout her tenure in Congress, Chisholm was also a vocal opponent of the U.S. military draft. She also wrote 2 books during her lifetime, Unbought and Unbossed in 1970 and The Good Fight in 1973. After leaving Congress in 1983, she taught at Mount Holyoke College and spent the rest of her life continuing to lecture. She never stopped trying to educate people about social justice. What inspires me personally about Shirley Chisholm and why I choose her as a truly iconic figure in our history is that she had the audacity and she had the courage and she had the strength to be the first. Always the first African-American female elected to Congress, the first African-American female to run for presidency. And she was outspoken. She was outspoken and she was educated. And she never let anything hold her back from saying what was right. The other thing that I enjoy about her is that she was also very vocal in joining communities together to make change in the community. And I am a strong believer of that. The only way that we can ever make changes to things in our community or in our country is for all of us to join together and hear everyone's ideal and consensus and get together and make change. We cannot continue to talk to make change. We must have action, but we must first join together to make that action come about.
Now, I know many of you have been following along with us over the past several months as through the 2014 year, Mayor Kim Bracey in the city of York honored a different artisan every month. It was a wonderful program showcasing artists that made significant contributions to the community, as well as just plain old artistic excellence. Now, the program ended, so our December Artisan of the Month is our very final one, and they could not have picked a better representative for community advocacy for the arts. Christine Lincoln, our own past guest and Poet Laureate of the City of York, received the December award, and she gave a touching and wonderful performance that you're absolutely going to love. Couldn't have been a better send-off for this program, and we are happy to share a bit of it with you here. Welcome everyone to the award ceremony for the December Artisan of the Month. As most of you know, every month Mayor Bracey chooses an artist who has made a significant contribution to the community, not just through the excellence of their work, but also the excellence of their service, their activism, and their involvement. Now, every artist is someone who does two things. One, they create the reputation of York as an arts and cultural destination, which means that their work reaches outside of the community. But it also ministers specifically to the people that are here in the city, that their art is impactful, is enjoyable, is promoting an awareness of culture and a heightened sensitivity to the beauty and importance of art right here at home, making a difference for the people and the artists that live in this community and that are the building blocks of its renaissance, which has been a huge initiative of Mayor Bracey since she first came to office. So this program is one that she really, really loves and is very close to her heart. And this month's Artisan of the Month, who we are very, very, very proud from her office to be able to award, is the fabulous, the absolutely divine York City's Poet Laureate, Christine Lincoln. Now I want to, yes,
Christine, on behalf of Mayor Bracey and the City of York, thank you, thank you, thank you. You add such a value and contribution to our arts community. Thank you for all that you have done. You've changed so many lives of so many women and children and individuals in our community. You go out of your way to do work, you go out of your way to give back, and you just go out of your way just to be the beautiful person that you are. And we just want to say thank you for your contributions. You are a Poet Laureate and you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you for your contributions. Thank you for adding to our community. We see your light and we are proud of it. Congratulations, Christine.
This one is written at the end of summer. I just feel like, you know, we're always losing something, but we don't know that we've lost it until it actually is gone. But we are always in the process of losing something. Think about 9/11 and how innocent and naive we were, thinking that stuff like that would not happen here, and then it happened. But it didn't just happen that day, it had been happening all along. And so I feel like that's what winter is to me. Like, winter is coming all along, and we don't prepare for that moment when suddenly it's here and we've lost something. That's what this poem is about. It's called The Lessons Are in the Branches. Looking forward, and still we cannot see the beginning of a thing. We only know the awkward blush, the shy stuttered hello of first greeting. In the end, summer will be gone long before we notice the flush of silver, of life, of endless cycles and waning opportunities. We are cuffed to this world like hoodlums, frightened brawlers who tread the great black divide, part fist, part charmer. But summer is gone, and we are left to ponder the last trace of sun-chased days, as if this wheel within a wheel is a line leading straight, unwavering, and not this circling, this slow, cool goodbye. This is a first draft. It doesn't have a title yet, but I wrote this because the other night my son Alex and his fiance Randy and my grandson and I were coming back from Louisville. And as we were coming into the city, we saw a police officer who was going in a whole complete direction. When we saw us, he quickly turned around and it looked as if he was going to follow us. And my son's fiance said to my son, I'm in the backseat, there's a cop. And he said, yeah, you know, like I see him. And all of a sudden, it's just, we went from laughing and joking and this hush just filled the car until he pulled off and he wasn't following us. And I thought, you know, this is for my son who is black, a black male. Do not be afraid to stand fully in this skin. This skin is not the color of rejection. Some other racist sin making you regret it. No, you cannot slouch in this skin that draws attention, more beacon than evil, regal, though perhaps misguided, still seeking its value. No, your skin is the color of moonless nights along the Mississippi Delta. All those blues, same hue as the deep, calling unto deep, calling unto deep. Not fear, luminous, a dark yet sacred mystery. I wrote this to challenge other poets, young poets who are finding their voices. Okay, yeah, this is the version. It's called Core. Core means the philosophical study of space. Space being the relationship between objects. And in this case, the two objects that are in relationship are poets who have been on the scene for a while and those who are upcoming. And this is like a charge to them who are still up and coming to take their place. Like this is inspired by Dustin, actually, who is just amazing and inspires me. Speak, young ones, burning suns, we are listening. We will make space for you, unroll the folds of dark loss and find a place for you. We will make room for you right here in the clearing. Everything, even the smallest possible, has value. Your voice becomes our voice. That's right. I said our voice, singular, as in one collective sound. It's called Universe Intentionally. One poem since the beginning, a multi-generational poetic continuum like a house with multiple entrances, doors, portals, and windows, dimensional, the way our words commingle, the way we're continuously tunneling, traveling vast distances from mind to paper and pen, then back again, the speed of thought, circling, circling, circling. A poem holds metaphysical realities just by being. We create literary translocations without boundary. It's called living. And I'm not talking about simply surviving, but purposeful existence, making a difference. Even a black hole requires imagination, someone to bear witness to its collapse and reformation. Speak, young ones, burning suns, we are listening.
Because they can't all be here. On behalf of every child at Ferguson Elementary who has found their voice because of you, I thank you. For every woman who is in Access's shelter who has found her voice because of you, I thank you. For every woman at the Community Progress Council who is in your writing group for recovering women who have suffered from trauma, who cannot be here to tell you themselves, I thank you. For every person who has yet to come through the doors of the Writing Center downtown, where they will have a free and open space with internet and with a writing class and with resources to help them become better writers and a safe environment to help nurture them and give them confidence to do so. To those people who don't even know who they are yet, I thank you for everything that you have done, continue to do, and plan to do for this community, for your service to the city of York. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Simpson. I am actually a York native, born and raised in York, been here all of my life, all of 33 years. I actually love living in this city. It's a great place to grow up and a great place to be. I'm actually the Student Success Manager at Harrisburg Area Community College, affectionately known as HAC, and I'm here to talk with you today about a very inspiring woman that I have actually come to know and learn more about as I grew up and experienced life. So her name is Bessie Coleman. Born on January 26, 1892 in Atlanta, Texas, Bessie Coleman was one of 13 children. Her father left the family in search of better opportunities in Oklahoma when Bessie was a child. Her mother did her best to support the family, and the children contributed as soon as they were old enough. At 12 years old, Bessie began attending the Missionary Baptist Church in Texas, and after graduating, embarked on a journey to Oklahoma to school, although she was only able to complete one term because of not having enough money to continue. Rather than giving up, Bessie moved to Chicago and worked as a manicurist. She began listening and reading stories of World War I pilots, which sparked her interest in aviation. In 1922, a time of both gender and racial discrimination, Coleman broke barriers and became the world's first Black woman to earn a pilot's license. Because flying schools in the United States denied her entry, she took it upon herself to learn French and moved to France to achieve her goal. After only 7 months, Coleman earned her license from a well-known aviation school in France. Though she wanted to start a flying school for African Americans when she returned to the U.S., Bessie specialized in stunt flying and parachuting and earned a living as a stunt pilot. In 1922, hers was the first public flight by the African American woman in America. When asked how she was able to accomplish so much in her young life, Bessie always answered, "I refuse to take no for an answer." Thank you. Bessie's drive to take no for an answer and to really rise above all of the time frame in which she was experiencing major discrimination, major in terms of not being able to advance herself in the way she wanted to based on her passion, she still took that as an opportunity to still pursue her dreams. So I admire her because she, in the face of all the obstacles that she dealt with, she was still able to overcome. And I think that means a lot for our youth today, for me and the life that I lead, for my children, for my nieces and nephews, that it's important to make sure that you have the drive and determination and motivation to continue regardless of the obstacles and barriers that are presented in front of you. It's more about you wanting to accomplish your dreams and not letting anything, I think, stand in the way of what you're wishing to do in your life and in the future.
It's the most fattening time of the year. With that pumpkin pie filling and everyone swilling down eggnog and beer. It's the most fattening time of the year. It's the lip smacking his feet. That's the season of all. While you're shopping, you're cheating, impulsively eating that junk at the mall. It's the heavy.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at the corner of Culture in Maine. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We'd love to hear from you, so please send us your emails, cultureinmaine@gmail.com, or find us online, facebook.com/cultureinmaine. Follow us on Twitter @cultureinmaine, or visit wrct.tv, not .com, .tv, where you can find everything Culture in Maine, plus all the other great programming that White Rose Community Television brings into your home. And if you do like what we do on this show and you'd like to see it continue, we're here for the next 6 months, but we need to finish our capital campaign. Otherwise, the great stuff that we do and the great events that we cover, we won't actually be able to continue to do so. It's wonderful viewers and contributors like you who make the programming that we do possible. So please, if you can, visit SaveYorkTV.com. That's SaveYorkTV.com, where you can make donations, get all kinds of cool stuff, or just find out more information about some of the things that we do here. Really hope to see you next week. Thank you once again for joining us right here on Culture and Maine.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it.
I see it evolving, changing, growing, and I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out the same.
Some of the culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds healthy growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, yes.